Good morning, everyone. I just had to close some tabs. Yeah, I was sorting stuff out. Um, my keyboard on my laptop at the moment is being a bit, say, glitchy, so I've had to copy and paste certain letters whenever I want to type something. It's very frustrating, but that's technology for you. Um, I thought I'd get on here this morning and really put forth the video I had intended this channel for initially, actually. And so this is offering an alternative vocabulary for the people on the Ascension, spiritualist, New Age path, but it also applies to any path you're on, whether you're Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, pagan, whatever. List them all off. So this is a different vocabulary. Before we start, though, I just want to ring my singing bowl and just clear the air, get some grounding. So let's go. Let's follow the let's follow the sound. I hope everyone is having a good morning or a good afternoon or wherever you are in the world. For today's discussion, I actually thought I'd bring back Kshitigaba as kind of the anchor point of this talk because I'm a little bit anxious about this talk, actually. I'm a little bit anxious about putting forth an alternative. But I guess we'll start at the beginning. Why do I think that the language we use as spiritual people, regardless of our path, why do I think it's important? Because language is powerful. The words we use, the expressions we use, these do impact our own lives, our own self-esteem, and the lives of people around us, the wider community. We see it in the media. That is why in Buddhism we have there is the concept of right speech. Words are powerful. The intention and energy behind words are powerful. And there's a great expression also in Buddhism that says, guard the doors of your senses. Often we surround ourselves with language, with expressions that actually tear us down. So, what is my gripe, I guess? Not even a gripe, but what is my concern with words like ascension or higher and lower vibration? Well, in order to explain it, I need to actually take you back to my aha moment in 2006. I went to Kangaroo Island, which is a lovely place and probably the only place on earth that I've currently been to that I would love to retire at. It gets very hot in the summer though, but it's got lots of lovely beaches. I went there in 2006 as part of a working holiday with my aunt and uncle at a time when I was having a bit of difficulty with my family. I had gripes to work through, and yeah, I just had to work through it. I'm just going to actually turn off the heater because it's getting too warm in here now. Sorry about that. Yeah, so it was very cold and foggy this morning, so I had the heater on, and now it's too hot. Go figure. So anyway, I went to Kangaroo Island, and while I was over there, I got the opportunity to be guided, given a tour essentially of a local Buddhist stupa. This was of the Tibetan Buddhist lineage schools. And I really, really enjoyed it. The stupa was at the time only half built. It's completed now, and I haven't sadly been back yet. But it was one of those circumstances in my life where I was really, whether it was because of past karmic action or whatever, all these blessings kind of like accumulated. While I was over there, I conducted a meditation that involved unwrapping the labels of objects and myself and circumstances around me. And the way I did this is I chose one word, so my one word was emptiness, and I disassembled. It was like pulling back the layers of an onion or an orange or something, and tearing away the labels. So as a simple example, I usually use a stick, but I don't have a stick here. Well, I have a paintbrush, but take a book, for instance. So this is called a book. Take away the label of the book. What is it? You might say it's cardboard. Take away that label. You might say it's paper. Take away that label. You might say it's writing. Take away that label. You might state the colors. Take away that label, those labels. Take it back until you reach the word empty, and then take that away too. And when I did this, I had a very, it was a very brief but profound experience where I found myself totally interconnected with everything. It wasn't that there was an ant over there. I was the ant. The ant was me. It wasn't that I was sitting on the carpet. I was the carpet. The carpet was me. There was no sense of separation. Everything was connected. And even concepts like good and bad became insubstantial. I could still, in a part of my mind, still conceptualize these things. A part of me was still like, wow, this is amazing. But in that moment, none of that mattered. Everything was connected. And that experience completely changed my life. Afterwards, for many, many years, I explained it as the emptiness that contained all. Because I was empty of human concepts, human perceptions that were limiting, and I was the universe, and the universe was me. So when I speak of addressing the language we use in the Ascension, New Age, spiritualist, even pagan communities at times, I'm speaking of it from that perspective, from that experience that everything is connected, that there is only separation because we believe there is only separation, and that many of the concepts that we hold to as concrete are simply human perspectives, very relative to our own experiences. So, onto the language we use. Within the Ascension community, within the New Age community, the Unity Consciousness community, there is a lot of talk of higher and lower vibration. There is a lot of talk of ascension, rising up, growing. And these are all very good words, very good terms. They help us define who we are, especially when people outside communities perhaps don't understand where we're coming from. Cool. But I'm going to go with the analogy of the lotus. So one of the big images is the lotus. You know, it grows out of the mud, and from that it blooms. Well, when we talk of ascension and we talk of higher and lower vibrations, what it kind of seems with that image is we're the lotus and we're trying to outgrow the people around us. So instead of blooming, we're just trying to make our stems taller. And this leads to spiritual competition. And I'll say it, the spiritual community, regardless of what faith you come from, regardless of your religion or your background, can be some of the most competitive people out there. And the worst thing is, a lot of that competition is very passive aggressive. And I feel that it can be a hindrance to us. And I know because I've been in competition with good friends in the past. And if anything, it's created, well, to quote my other video, dukkha, dissatisfaction. It's created a lot of dilemmas. It's created a lot of insecurity. It's created a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a lot of jealousy. So when we speak of ascension and descension, the way I look at it is when you put something on a tier, like a ladder, what we tend to do is we either look down on people that we feel are lower than us, or we look up to people that are higher than us and get jealous or resentful, or we feel guilty, or we feel ashamed that we're not good enough. Or what we do is we're on the ladder and we keep adding to the ladder and ultimately putting our goal out of reach. There's a great line. I'm actually just going to see if I can find it on my Facebook. Let's see. I have to go to the search bar. Oh no. Again, my poor laptop is struggling at the moment. Come on, play nice. Please play nice. Okay. Here we are. I'm just going to see if this is actually the right blog. Okay, I'm actually going to read this because it's one of my favorite quotes, and it's from Deepak Chopra's wonderful novel, Buddha, Story of Enlightenment. So this is just after the Buddha's reached enlightenment. He goes back to the monks who basically had abandoned him, and he says this to them. I have come back to tell you that you can be whole, but only if you see yourself that way. There is no war between good and evil. There is no sin or redemption. None of these things matter to the real you, but they all matter hugely to the false you, the you that believes in separate self. You have tried to take your separate self, with all its loneliness and anxiety and pride to the door of enlightenment, but it will never get through because it is a ghost. There's a line before it where the monks say to Buddha, well, surely the holy life must be separate from the mundane life. And Buddha's response is, well, what if there is no holy life? And for many of us, that's scary. If we've been on the spiritual path for me, it's about close to 20 years. We use it as much a food for our ego as anything else. We fall into that trap. So the language we use is important. So higher and lower vibration, what are the alternatives to this language? What is the alternative to this ladder we've created? This leveling we've created? And just to make it, just to clarify as well, in Buddhism, and in Hinduism too probably, but more so in Buddhism, the states of reincarnation have been put on a level where humans are the penultimate incarnation for reaching enlightenment. And so it kind of puts a human-centric importance on the whole picture. which I don't agree with. I don't agree with. Just because we cannot understand the consciousness of other animals, and humans are animals, um, doesn't mean that they're in any way less than us. We're getting there. It's a process. Same with trees. Same with stones. We're all connected. And when we get to that state of tearing away the labels of separation, we acknowledge that we are everything, good and bad, light and dark, the carpet, the ceiling, the stars, the pile of dung out on the road. We're everything. And that in a way is it's liberating. So what I would propose is, instead of this concept of higher and lower vibration, because our concept of what is higher and lower is very relative to our experience. We each have a different kind of meter as to what we consider high or low. What I would compare high will be ultimately very different to the person next to me. What I consider to be low will be different to the person next to me. So what I prefer is, instead of ascension, openness. Instead of higher and lower, I actually prefer restrictive and expressive. Yeah, expressive and restrictive. So emotions like anger, jealousy, ultimately they restrict us because they come from a place of fear. Things like joy, compassion, love, these are expressive. They allow us to be open and connect with people around us in a way that is not harmful. And I think this is important because the idea of the spiritual path, for many of us, often starts off from a need for power. When I started my spiritual journey, I got into it because I wanted to be powerful. I wanted a sense of independence. I wanted a sense of being special. I wanted a sense of being different, unique. What I learned on Kangaroo Island is that we are all unique. Everything is necessary. Doesn't mean we shouldn't try and change harmful situations, but it is there. Again, going back to my talk yesterday, people on the Ascension path often only look at the light and they forget the dark, or they try and ignore the dark. But the dark is necessary too. We cannot have one without the other. What we need to do is try and strike the balance and to properly channel those perhaps more destructive elements in our lives and in our society. And it is a challenge. I'm not going to lie. So instead of ascension, acceptance, because really that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to accept that we are part of the universe. We're trying to tear away, to undo the conditioning that says we are separate. We are isolated. That's what it does. Emotions like, actually that's even a better term. Instead of restrictive, isolating. So you've got expressive and isolating qualities. Stuff like anger and jealousy, and it isolates us from people, from communities, from the universe. Whereas things like compassion and charity and love unites us, allows us to be accepted. Looking at the term enlightenment, I like the term enlightenment, but that's partly because I'm very familiar with Buddhism and Hinduism, but also because enlightenment to me reminds us to lighten up, to drop away the heaviness, the restrictive, and to just be lighter, be lighter. again, it's not easy. It's not always easy. We go through crap in life, and we really struggle to let go of things that maybe a grudge, maybe a resentment, maybe a regret. I've been holding on to a couple of regrets since the beginning of the year, and I'm trying to work through them, and it's really difficult. It's not easy. I'll get there, but it's a process. And that's the other thing. Like, that's part of lightening up. That's part of accepting. Is it is a process. If I went, oh, it's not happening all of a sudden. It's not happening instantaneously. Why can't I just drop it and walk away? Well, I need to accept that it's a process. These things take time. Healing takes time. Overcoming regret takes time. Sometimes it's not instantaneous. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. So I wanted to, come on here and propose an alternative to some of the words we use. Instead of ascension, instead of rising up, we're opening. Instead of higher vibration, we're just more accepting. We're opening again. Instead of someone being lower, they're just a little more restricted, and that's not a judgment, or they're isolating themselves. That's not a criticism. It's just, if we look at our own experiences, we can see that when we're angry, when we're jealous, people don't want to hang out with us. People don't want to engage with us. People don't want to share with us. People don't want to entrust us with things because we're not very nice to be around. So, that's, again, I'm around the 21 mark with this, 22 minute mark with this, but that's all right. So, openness, acceptance, expressiveness, expression and isolation. I think if we stop trying to put people on a tier, on a ladder, and this kind of comes through with, I think it kind of, especially in the West, it comes through from our Christian conditioning too, is that, heaven is up there. We need to rise up to get to heaven. As I said yesterday, with regards to Kshitigava, hell and heaven are states of experience and expression, and they occur here and now, in the moment, not as a destination to reach later. We create heaven and hell here on earth. And sometimes we create hell without realizing it, and sometimes we create heaven without realizing it. It all depends on the circumstance. So I want to just leave you with that. And if people stumble across this video and agree or disagree, go for it. Comment all you want. I'll try and read comments if they appear. And if not, that's cool too. So, I thought I'd have Kshitigava here just to keep me grounded. I think I managed to stay on topic. I don't write down scripts yet. Eventually I might do a talk where I've had to take notes, but I haven't taken any notes so far. So this is me off the cusp. Just winging it. So I hope you all have a lovely day. I hope you all enjoy the sunshine if you've got sunshine. Enjoy the rain if you've got rain. It's a very overcast day here. It was very foggy this morning. It looked like there was a light shower of misty rain earlier. I think it's meant to rain later. Don't know. So I'll probably go out for a walk before it settles in with the rain. I wish you all a very lovely day. Again, I just want to bring in Kshitigava because actually what I'll do is I'll do that. So that's better. I can see you now. Yeah, and you can see Kshitigarbha. I wanted to bring in Kshitigarbha because openness is about being real. It's about being here. And we get so caught up in concepts, whether it be ascension or higher and lower vibration, twin flame, star seed, mer people, earth angels, the whole shebang. And Kshitigarbha, a bit like Christ, a bit like Osiris, a bit like Gaia and other beings, they teach us to be here in reality. So may your life today be simple. May it be joyful. May it be rounded. May it be open. Be open. Be open to what life gives you. Be open to what the changes that happen. Be open to the universe. Be open to the universe in you, and be open to you in the universe. Namaste. Have a lovely day, and stay warm if you're cold, and stay cold if you're warm. Take care.